Alright, I got a review for you. Terraria. And why such a good death simulator. It's fucking... It could be fucking hard. So fucking hard, man, I tell you. But it's worth it. It's fucking so good. It's so fun. So at first I thought this was like a Minecraft ripoff. And there's aspects of Minecraft, but it's not really like a ripoff. They took in some things, but they've made it so much better. Way better than what I thought. I was always interested in playing the game, and then it went on sale, and I saw my friend playing it, so I picked that shit up. And I'm glad I did. Now I beat the game on the Crimson, and I'm getting ready to go on the, I guess it's the Corruption, the purple stuff. So you pretty much, you start your world, you pick, you wanted, what size you want the world. I went with the largest. They recommend if you're a beginner to go with like the smallest, but I think bigger is better. And you get to choose your kind of like your own doom. With the Corruption, there's like this red shit that gets everywhere, or the Crimson. Kind of, it's red after the name of it. And then there's the other one that's Corruption, and it pretty much spreads like a cancer on the land, and it turns normal monsters into more fucked up shit. And it's really a pretty cool concept. It's got like Cthulhu and some of his body parts, and here you see that like wall of flesh. This is like a boss down in hell. And there's tons of fucking cool like equipment, like my little jump boots. I was so happy when I got them, but they're not as good as you think they are. There's different classes like warrior, summoner, wizard, rogue, and the rogue is kind of like guns and bows. Your summoner, you don't do most of the fighting yourself. You tend to like, you see the little like whirlwind shit moving around me, and the little bird. You tend to get like pets to go and do the fighting for you. Wizard, you use like wands and stuff. The warrior uses swords. I love the guns, but I ended up sticking with like the warrior class. Here's the map. The maps can be it's really fucking huge. It doesn't look that big, but that world is really big, and the biomes are beautiful. The swamp is my favorite, or the jungle. And the biome goes into the ground all the way to hell. So like if you're in the ice on top and you dig down, there's going to be ice shit under the ground until you reach like the outer layers of like hell and stuff. And some of the like the mushroom biome that's under the ground, this one's the gem one, they're just fucking beautiful. Like the art on the game and the lighting effects is great. It's probably one of the most like most beautiful like color palettes ever on a game, and they did a real fucking good job. Some of the weapon effects are like just mind-blowing. Some of the enemies are straight up pain in the ass, and some of them are really cool. The mimics are so much fucking fun, and I learned to hate the desert area, even though I like the desert biome, but like the monsters in the desert biome are so fucking unforgiving. And all the shit that you can get, there's tons of potions, there's flasks where you can apply like poisons and fire damage to your like weapons. There's tons of bosses. We'll go over those a little later. But every class, there's usually like a set of armor, like a beetle armor, bone armor, or something like that, and for different like metals and stuff. And usually there's versions of that armor for every class. So there is like a ridiculous amount of shit. Like I just started saving everything, because you get like a goblin guy and you find him, and then you get like the workbench. And then you can take shit that you have and combine it and get like the pros of both of them. It is so fucking in depth that I've watched probably like like hours and hours of fucking tutorials on like how to make swords and shit, how to make like wild ass guns, because none of it's really explained in the game too much, and you have to watch the tutorials. There's like, to get the end game sword, it's like fucking 15 swords that you like all put together, and they just become more and more fucking badass, and at the end it's like unbelievably awesome. I really recommend like checking out some tutorials and shit. I just made like the cell phone, so like time of day, the weather effects, if the moon is out, what phase the moon is in, like a full moon and shit, all matters when you're like fishing and looking for certain like items and certain herbs that only bloom at night. Like, think of like Minecraft and all the shit you can do in Minecraft with like a pile of cocaine and like encyclopedia books of like items. Like, it's ridiculous. I'm telling you, this is such a fucking good and in-depth game. And even already like beating it, I still have like another version of the game to go through, and I want to do like expert mode. There's like flying mounts that never get tired in expert mode, and there's like more items and shit that you can't even get in the regular game that you have to play on the harder difficulties to get, and it's just fucking mind-blowing. Like, the amount of time that I've like sunk into this game. Like, I was happy with some of the buildings I made, and then I went online and saw shit people were making. It was like 10 times better. There's like NPC characters that you can go out and find, and then they'll come and like live with you, and if they're happy, like if they're living in the right biome and they have neighbors they like, they'll sell you more shit, like weapons parts. The bosses are so much fucking fun, and they're unforgiving, and some of the bosses just show the fuck up. Like, I had boss fights for bosses that I didn't even know existed. I'm just doing something, and it's like the right time of night, and the moons and stars are all aligned, and that motherfucker just shows up. I accidentally summoned the bee boss the first time because I saw her in her fucking like her like cocoon, and I was like, oh, let me free this bitch. I think she's like captured. Wrong. She fucked the shit out of me. And man, it's like the weapons they drop are pretty clever. Like, there's a machine gun that shoots bees, and when you shoot them, it uses, instead of ammo, it uses your magic, and so the bees will keep stinging the target that you shoot them at. There's a lot of fucking cool like little like weapons and stuff. I really recommend like going out of your way to find all the bosses. All the bosses like drop trophies and shit, and they drop like specific items. Some of the boss fights are really fucking hard, but then some of them are like really easy. And usually when you kill a boss, once you get past like the wall of flesh and you go into like hard mode, like you'll kill a boss and then like meteors start falling from the sky and shit, or like a door will open up to a temple and you can go and do this now. Like, there's a lot of like progression, and just when the game is kind of like feeling like it's getting boring and you've like, okay, I've maxed them out right here, I'm pretty much wiping out everybody, there'll be a boss that comes along and just pushes your shit in like fucking like brutally hard. And I think that's one of the things I like about it. Like, some of the bosses, Plant Terror was really fucking tough, and I accidentally summoned this son of a bitch the first time. But you just have to like practice and learn like all the phases. The bosses usually have phases, like a rage mode and shit. The mechanical bosses are really fun. So after you kill like the regular bosses, there's like a mechanical version of them, and they're all like full of lasers. The fucking endworm thing right here is so fucking fun. And the first time you'll fight most of the bosses, you have like that feeling of there's no way in hell I can beat this son of a bitch. It's just too tough. And you grind around, look online to find some armor that you didn't know about. You put it on, and it helps you just enough. You don't ever feel like too overpowered, even with some of the good weapons. Like, there are some weapons that will take you through like 3 or 4 bosses, but what's really helping you is the armor you pick up along the way. And like, okay, now you have a regular mount, or now you got a flying mount. So with the flying mount, shit is a lot, you know, a lot more easier, because eventually the only thing that keeps you alive is your ability to like move and like jump and shit. Like, you have to be really mobile. You just can't sit there and tank shit. It doesn't work that way. And each boss is pretty unique. Some of them are kind of the same and they're like rehashed, but they'll usually have like 2 or 3 like little like twists to them, like the eyeballs and shit. And when you get them down a halfway, like they physically change and they start doing something else. It's just so well done. And the cool thing about like some of the bosses, like I said earlier, is they just show up out of nowhere and they just fuck you up. And it's like, oh, I didn't know that son of a bitch existed. But you do now. And it's like they catch you at the worst time. But it's like, I promise you, this is like probably my like top 5 favorite games of all time. Like, it's so fucking fun and so good. I wish I picked this up earlier. Some of the bosses drop like ridiculous weapons. Some of them drop pretty cool mounts. Some of the items are just like, they don't really do much but like cosmetic shit. Like there's kites. There's tons of different mounts. Some of the mounts can fly. Some of the mounts actually have like horns, or they'll have like a some kind of like thing on them, so you could like do a dash and run through enemies and it like hurts them. And then there's like a lance weapon that you can get, and if you're on a mount, you can run and use it like a real lance and just like cut through people. One of the things I like the most is like all the events. So like, here's the like Halloween event. I think it's called like the full eclipse moon or something. But like, there's events like a Christmas one, the Martian one, and then they have like sub bosses, and the sub bosses drop badass weapons. Some of the events are pretty fucking tough, like the Martian one. That one, the alien ship isn't that easy, but they drop fucking great shit. I'll show you in a second. Another thing is they're timed and shit. So like, most of these events you have to do at like 7 o'clock at night, and then at 4 in the morning they just fucking take off. Like Santa Claus, that son of a bitch. I almost had him, and then he just fucking took off. So here's the Martian one. The Martian one is probably my favorite. The aliens are real fucking tough, and but they drop some like badass shit. Where's the fucking UFO? The UFO is like a the boss of the actual battle, and when you start getting better shit, you'll drop the bosses pretty quick, but they keep coming. So it's like, as long as the event is going, like another UFO will eventually show up and you can fight him again. But he's got like a fucking missile attack that's really irritating. And it's like, they're hard to dodge. The beam is pretty like brutal, but those fucking lasers are nasty too. But he drops like a beam weapon, and if you're like built for mage, and the cool thing about like the class thing is you don't have to like spec into it. You just wear the armor and the items, and that's how you're like, okay, I'm a mage now. So you don't have to like reset like things or anything like that. You just take off a set of armor and put the weapons and the trinkets that you like, and you're pretty much a mage at that point. This is that fucking beam weapon. You can just see like the mana stars going down. Like, I've seen some people that build like for a mage class and you put like a lot of mana shit on, and that beam just like stays up there for like a while. It's so fucking good. The boss, the end game is real fun. The bosses are really cool. Just when you think you've like wiped out somebody, and it's like, oh, I beat one of the hard guys, it's like, nah, that shit keeps coming. and it's unforgiving. So like the end boss, you have to destroy like these little towers, and there's 4 of them, and they change depending on which tower they are. Like there's like I guess they're all like different elements and stuff. They change the background. In the background, there's always something going on. Like whether it's like raining or some kind of weather effect. Depending on which biome, there's always something in the background. Like moving, the clouds are pretty interesting. There's like different shaped clouds. Like they're physical shapes. It sounds corny as fuck. But like you'll be looking and you'll see like the pirate ship flying in the sky. You'll see like falling the meteorites. There's something else I swear I've seen in the background. Oh, like dragons and shit. Like I'm telling you, like the art style of the game is beautiful. It's probably one of the better looking games I've seen in a while, especially for like a 2D game. And there's tons of fucking enemies. Like I want to say there's over like 500 different types of enemies, and they've done a great job where like you go into a biome and you fight like lizards, scorpions, and bugs and stuff, and they're all pretty balanced, and they all like work together very well. Where you're in like the jungle, there's like killer plants, there's all types of like bees and shit. There's all types of like slimes. The ice place has like wolves and snowmen and shit like that. It's very well put together. You get a really good like diverse enemy. And there's like fishing. There's tons of like bugs and stuff you can catch. You can capture animals and put them in glass tanks for like a like an enclosure, so you can like put your decorations in your house, and you can have like rooms with like frogs, and like every animal you see in the game just about you can catch with a net. And some of the animals you need like a golden net, or I think there's like a fireproof net to catch some of the shit. Same with fishing. It's just like the in-depth stuff. Like when it comes to like making furniture and stuff, it is ridiculous. And there's tons of ores. There's tons of different woods. Different like you can make glass windows. Like I said, it's like Minecraft, but like on a lot of cocaine, and like an encyclopedia book full of information on like everything you can do. You can watch videos all day on this shit, and I've been watching videos and I still can't figure out like everything. The boss at the end was so like, this guy was so fucking tough that like I felt like I was never going to beat him, but then I went full American and just remembered like, you know, guns are our thing, and the guns helped out. But it was like, it's so satisfying. And then after you beat him a couple times, he drops a couple swords, and you go and you make your like your best sword ever kind of shit, and it's like you're on that god level tier shit, and just about anything that comes in your gets in your face and shit, you're gonna fuck them up. I'm telling you, this game is definitely worth a buy. If you've been on the fence about it, I really recommend that you get it. I'm playing on a console, and even with the joystick, there's an auto lock. It's not that hard to like master. I'm sure it's a lot easier with like a mouse and keyboard. And I wish I had this on the computer, but right now I don't have a good gaming computer at all. So like playing on a console is the only way I can do it. And still, it's such a good game that I don't mind playing with the shitty joystick. I made my tower of power up into the clouds, and it's just full of gaudy shit, like giant paintings, gold furniture, and all the fucking trophies from all the bosses that I'm farming. The trophies are so satisfying. They look pretty cool. It's just, there's so much shit to do in the game, and the replayability is super high. And even after you beat the boss and shit, you beat this boss, there's still another fucking boss. And I didn't know about this bitch until I looked her up online. You can even fly kites. There's like kites. There's like all kinds of just like stupid fun shit. But let's get to that boss. So this chick you gotta like summon. This is probably like my favorite boss in the whole game. The colors are just awesome. It's like a bad acid trip. And she's got a lot of like crazy phases and shit. And it's hard to dodge a lot of that shit. But like at night, she's easy to beat. Not really that hard. But when you fight her during the day, and during the day is the only way to get her to drop like a couple items. And so you could watch that fight. This is how it goes. Knocking the shit out of her. And one tapped. Fucking like brutally hard. But you know, stick with it. Took all my potions and set up some like turrets outside. I was ready this fucking time. Kinda ready. Maxed out my summons. Started the fight. You can't get hit at all in the daytime fight because she would fucking one-shot you, no matter what you're wearing. But I ended up killing her, and that little sword drop. That's what I was going after. It's pretty much like a summon thing, and it just sits on your back, and they go out and they pretty much kill everything that gets close to you. It's so fucking cool. The weapons, like I said, are wild. The end game weapons. This makes you like an unstoppable badass. But I really recommend it. This game is so much fun, and it's pretty cheap now too because it's been a while. And they're also like adding stuff like every patch. So luckily, I came into a point where like there's tons of stuff already, but there's another patch coming out, and I don't know what's going to be in it or not, but they're always adding new weapons. They're adding like little sub-bosses and shit, and even, I believe, new biomes. If you haven't figured out, I really like the fucking game, and I recommend you to at least give it a fucking try, because it is so much fun. I thought it was like a shit kids game that was like a rip-off of Minecraft when I first saw it. And then I'm like, I'll give it a try because my buddy was playing it, and I'm 100% like hooked on this shit. It's so much fun. All right, that's all. All right, take care. Bye.